there are more fusions that could have been, damn, and I mean this close to being real. This was brought to my attention by one of my subscribers on Twitter through an old thread. It was web-paged to a written piece from a game developer who once had the opportunity to make a Digimon Cross Wars mobile game, and he made plenty of Digimon Fusions, namely with Dracomon, Gavdramon, and Sparrowmon. So here's the story. This piece was written by a Mr. Ray Chan, who stated that in 2013 he was working for a small startup company in San Francisco called the Playforge. They were purchased by Saban Brands, which owned the license to Digimon, and thus here we have the potentiality of the artwork of a Digimon game which never came to fruition. And as you can see from some of this art, some of it is amazing. The designs are just so unique and wild and featuring some of your favorites. I look at the style, that is cool. That's a cool little mobile app game style. And he says there was little oversight, they were given lots of freedom, they made loads of new concept art, which you can clearly see. I mean, look at these, look at the creativity. 4 of the most obscure Digimon you can think of fused into this. And there's even evolutions on top of that they designed. And all this just shows how serious they actually were about bringing this game to light. And it states here the dev team actually watched Digimon Cross Wars up to episode 26 to get a feel for the new Digimon Fusions they were going to make. And obviously Ray states here they're not canon, but that's a very loosely used expression. In the confines of this mobile game, they would have been canon in their own way. I think the aesthetic just works so well, like this would have been super fun to just plow through. Now here's the exciting part. Boom. Look at this fusion design. The combination of Dracomon, Male Birdramon, and Greymon. I think this design is just so sick. Like, I think this could have really worked for the better. Whilst there is the scrutiny of having too many mech-like Digimon Fusions in Cross Wars, there is that criticism there and I understand that. However, when Dracomon was introduced in Digimon Cross Wars, there was not much use for him. And I think this would have given Dracomon, you know, being the centerpiece of Blue Flare, much like Shoutmon is of Crossheart, would have really balanced the playing field and I think put things into perspective. But then moving on from this, we even have a further fusion of Dracomon, what should we call it? Dracomon Cross 3? This would be Dracomon Cross 4 with Cyberdramon. You could argue that perhaps this is a little bit too much. However, you have to pay attention to the detail. The detail is phenomenal in that, in including Cyberdramon, you can see the teeth on the hand cannons. The representation of Dracomon has become more mechanized with the inclusion of Cyberdramon. This design might not be for everybody and I appreciate that, but this is exciting stuff. Look how real it looks. And moving on, we have more Digimon Fusion concepts with Shoutmon and Pheromon, and honestly, I quite like the idea of this. Like, this is a really interesting Digimon Fusion, something I never thought would have been possible. But I think it's the wild ideas of this Digimon Cross Wars mobile app game is something that should have been implemented in the series, because I think that is the appeal that the crazy fusions have as an entertainment factor. And even here we have even more fusions and designs. We have concept art of how the Digimon will look on the screen. It looks very neat and tidy, I can't lie. I quite like how Digimon look in this case. And we have some variability across different designs. But sadly down here, developer states that there wasn't enough money in the system. They were just kind of going off the dome with it. There was no plan, no roadmap. Logistics became very difficult to complete, finalizing the game. And sadly, it fell through in October 2013, which is a huge shame and very sad for them that they were laid off. But here we have even more Digimon Fusion concepts, using a variety of different Digimon. Obviously, a lot of them are very much Dracomon and Shoutmon centralized, but they are the protagonists of Digimon Cross Wars. But seeing all these really obscure Digimon get this limelight like this, like look at these, like we could have Lunamon here. Now these ideas are really creative, very bright, very wild and exciting. And is that the crest of friendship down here? I think that's an armor level Digimon, like what's going on? This is just so wild. And the more I see of these designs, I just think it's a huge shame. They obviously had the passion and they were very excited to make these Digimon real. And here's a different Digicross of Dracomon Cross 3 in a dragon form, and you have a fighter form. But all these designs are just so stellar, and I'm really impressed with all the passion that went into this. And here we have what seems to be a loading screen with Taiki. We have Gavdramon and Sparrowmon Digicross. Like this is just so, I mean, I understand these things are just composite fusions on top of each other, but really, and in a very literal sense, just combines the Digimon very simply. Ideas like this, which we just kind of never had from Digimon Cross Wars. Obviously there was some things missing from the manga, but stuff like this could have gone a very long way. And who knows what variability we could have had in this mobile app game that we'll just never see. It'll never see light of day, and I think that's sad. And there's examples of gameplay here which I think looked really promising, very colourful, very bright, very simple, and the art style complemented Digimon here. and the final touch from the developer at the end, that it was a very enjoyable experience for them. And you know what? I'm sure it was. This looked like a lot of fun to work with, making up different Digimon fusions on the fly, playing around with the aesthetics and design. Like, look at these, man. These are just so wild. This is more wild than anything we've ever had from Digimon. I think perhaps maybe the timing of this video was inappropriate. After Digimon Con's blunder on the games section, Digimon Re-Rise's shutdown, no information on New Century getting a global release, adding more sticks to the fire here, saying another mobile game we just didn't get, which looked kind of fun. Even if Digicross wasn't your thing and Fusions wasn't your favourite series, you can clearly tell, in the most undebatable sense, that these people, these developers, had a lot of passion behind this project. But all in all, I think these ideas were super exciting, super fun, vastly different. Maybe at the time of the release of this mobile game, maybe it might not have blown up, maybe it wouldn't have done well, but I think in this day and age, Digimon fans are just happy to get something. And I think so much talent and effort and ideas and creativity went into this project, I would be very happy to see it come back. But I am firm on the opinion that there is so much potential with this video game concept. I, for one, would play it. But everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video, kind of going through these lost archives of Digimon games which never came to be. If I can track down developers of this game and have a conversation with them, I'd love to do that. Would you like a video on that? Because whether it's this game or something else, these developers need to be back in Digimon. They had the ideas. These are developers that we as Digimon fans need. But everyone, leave your comments on your thoughts and I'll get back to you, or at least read all of them, and let me know what you think about all this. Please leave a like as it helps my video a lot and it helps my channel grow. I'd really appreciate it. I have tons and tons of videos from this last week with Digimon Con and more news. I'll leave those in the end screen for you. But if you've made it this far, I really appreciate your time, and most importantly, take care.